This week on Expressions.
It's unlike what I think we think of as opera. It's not just standing there and singing, it's not just dance. There's stage combat, there's acrobatics, there's clowning, and sometimes they're all in one performance.
Binghamton University students learn techniques of Peking opera. Plus,
Opera Kaskeset is Binghamton's only Jewish a cappella group.
Kaskeset means fish scales. It's a play on musical scales.
Our goal is basically to perform and to spread the love of Jewish music, of Hebrew music, to people who might otherwise not really get into listening to it.
welcome to Expressions. I'm Jen Mattoni. Today we're exploring some unique arts offerings associated with Binghamton University. Up first, an exchange program with the National Academy of Chinese Theater Arts. Master teachers came to Binghamton to teach one of the most famous and distinct art forms from China. The goal is to have the students perform aspects of Peking opera effortlessly. The setup is reminiscent of a reality show challenge, but trust us, it's better. A group of American students physically and mentally exhaust themselves, learning techniques from another culture.
The Beijing Opera has a very long history, and it contains a lot of cultural elements of China.
There is a tendency to try a little bit too hard to perform these movements correctly, and then you end up stiff and really unnatural. And it is so important to be subtle, I think, to do it correctly but not to overdo it, because it's such a subtle and beautiful art form.
The teachers are from the National Academy of Chinese Theater Arts in Beijing. They speak little to no English. Their translator knows some. Add to that, the class wraps with a public performance where the students must demonstrate what they've learned and then answer questions from the audience.
Beijing Opera has two functions. One is entertain people, another is educate people. The first part is the dance. It expresses nothing. But if you want to learn the Beijing Opera, that's the basic movement. Second is spear. Third is with the sword. And the fourth one is water sleeve. The water sleeve is a very important costume in Beijing Opera. And it's from the traditional Chinese costume. And like very long sleeve, very soft, very gentle, it's very beautiful.
It's unlike what I think we think of as opera.
I think it was really good for me because it was incredibly specific, and every single movement is something that you can do in an appropriate way, which is very different from modern American theater.
It's not just standing there and singing, it's not just dance, it's everything that you could possibly think of in any kind of theater movement, it's what they do. There's stage combat, there's acrobatics, there's clowning, and sometimes they're all in one performance.
The stories, the makeup, the costumes, it was totally different, the cultural aspect of it. I've never really dealt with any Asian theater, so the whole Beijing opera aspect of it all really opened my eyes to, different techniques and things I think I could apply, in the future.
What they learned went way beyond the course's title.
Tomorrow we'll correct your movements.
Techniques of Peking opera, also known as Beijing opera.
Each time and maybe...
The class operated entirely as a workshop. for 10 hours a week, lasting 1 month.
For the first week and a half, I would be in horrible pain. I'd go home and my entire body would hurt, especially my arms.
It was very intense.
She would actually have us hold for at least 1.5 minutes, but it felt like forever.
In the real world, when you're working, especially in this field, it's going to be hours at a time, and do it again, do it again, do it again until it's right. It prepared you for that aspect of acting.
I gained a lot of awareness of myself in a space.
I think a lot of people learned a lot of discipline. You know, I think the Asian culture really is very disciplined, very precise. And I think for me, especially just when I approach a character or a scene or something, I think it's really important to be precise, and in anything you do, really. That's something big that they taught us.
And that's the thing about the specificity. The movements were tiny, tiny little adjustments. It made a lot of sense. It wasn't really frustrating at all. It was just sort of painful sometimes.
Even if you had your hand like this and they would move it like an inch.
一定要是要有某种固定的形式。
You know, Beijing Opera is based on the convention. So when you laugh, when you smile, when you cry, we have our convention. You must do like that. But it's different with other theatrical forms.
We were also encouraged to come up to them and ask them, how do you open a door? How do you do this? How do you feed a chicken? And she was very accommodating and taught us.
第一次派我们来到宾汉顿大学来教学，因此我们感到特别的荣幸。
It's our first time to America and first time to the Binghamton University. Come here, teach the students, and we feel very glad and honored.
You could tell that they had such a passion for what they were doing. Yes, they've been trained since they were 12 to do it, but at the same time, their faces just were lit up, and they were just so excited, and they were so excited to show us. The fact that they wanted so much to share a part of their culture, a piece of their culture with us, was what really helped get me personally excited.
They play different role in Beijing Opera. Miss Zhang just mainly played a young lady role. Mr. Liu mainly played an old male role. So it really different role and different style.
For the women, their voices come from here, if that makes sense. Like, it's like it echoes like out of their cheeks or something. It's so high, their voice is so high.
Mr. Liu, which was one of the instructors, would tell the guys, you're a man, you're on stage, you're presented as a masculine figure and, like I guess a warrior of some sort. Just the dialogue, the way it was spoken was very high in pitch, high in volume, sounded kind of girly, and it was the makeup and things like that, and the gown, and I just think it kind of contradicted the masculine role, but I think it also kind of enhanced it in a certain sense, and you have to be comfortable with that. And the more you do that, the more you realize like what you're doing on stage and how it can oppose each other, but also complement each other, and create a new kind of technique, and that's what they're trying to teach us, and I think I got it at the end. I hope I did.
I really enjoyed communicating with our professors, because especially our female professor, at some point she just stopped using the translator, and she would just show us how to do it, and then she'd say, no, that's too much. No, that's not right. Like this, enough. And when you got praise in this way, it was such a rewarding feeling, because it wasn't just talk. You had done it with your body, and you had done it to a successful degree, and she could acknowledge that in her very limited vocabulary.
Since we did have the language barrier, it was like really important that they show us. We learned Chinese numbers 1 through 8. Li, hao, san, se, O, Liu, Ji, Ba.
The relationship that developed turned out to be reciprocal.
She was learning more and more English within the 4 weeks.
We have been treated very warmly. And the people here are very nice.
传下去，我感觉这个工作啊比较光荣。
And Mr. Liu like to teach, yes, very much. Firstly, because he loved Beijing Opera very much. I think that's very important. He think when he teaches the students, and maybe that's his task to let the Beijing Opera hand down from generation to another generation.
要非常感谢宾汉顿大学的领导。
So we thanks the Binghamton University and teachers here, yeah, because they give us this opportunity to exchange the different culture, to let more and more foreigners know our Beijing opera.
It was interesting just to create a story using those movements. And everybody kind of wanted to obviously respect what they taught us, but also show them that we had learned something from it and we can apply it to, you know, American culture and what we know.
They enjoy it, but maybe some of the movement is difficult.
Of course, the question is, how did the instructors think the American students did?
他们学习很认真，很努力。
So, because all the students are interested in Beijing opera, he thinks that's very important. And also, these students are very diligent and very lovely.
Keeping with the tradition of respect and honor being paramount values in Chinese culture, Ms. Zhang also responded accordingly.
很可爱。
The students are very diligent and very lovely.
At the end of the performance, it was obvious all were proud.
It was a great experience.
I had so much fun.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're told administrators from the Academy have visited BU more times than any other university nationwide. Over the years, Binghamton students and educators have also visited China. Learning and teaching have been exchanged, and the university has hosted plays as a result of the program. Find more information at binghamton.edu or our website, wskg.org. Kaskeset is an a cappella singing group based at Binghamton University. Since 1996, members perform on and off campus, nationwide actually, and they've released 4 CDs.
יחד לב אל לב נפתח ונראה טהור שבשמיים יחד לב אל לב נפתח בתקווה לאהבה איך שהלב נפתח חובק יד לעולם ובקריאה גדולה שיר לאהבה אמרו הכל אפשר זה לא מאוחר השחר כבר עלה זמן לאהבה יחד לב אל לב נפתח ונראה טהור שבשמיים יחד לב אל לב נפתח בתקווה לאהבה
Kaskeset is Binghamton's only Jewish a cappella group. We sang Yachad, which is a song about being together and friendship and love of your friends. Even though it's in Hebrew, that's what it means. And it meant a lot for us because that's something that we all feel and we all stand for.
Kaskeset means fish scales. It's a play on musical scales. We're also told that in modern Hebrew it means dandruff. I don't know, could be.
We sing a combination of Hebrew music, both Jewish and secular, like Israeli pop songs, as well as English popular music. And we also sang Zamru, which we picked it because it's one of our group songs that it's all harmony, there's no soloist, so it's just nice to be able to hear our blend in a song like that.
We do have associate board position of choreographer. That person is responsible for the most part, formally constructing the moves we do while we dance, That position can change each semester. We also have position of the position person who determines where we stand, things like that. But it's not completely up to that person. It really is a group effort. You know, if during rehearsal somebody says, well, you know, this feels right, let's do this. This seems to fit in either with the message of the song or just the feel of the song. The choreographer can tune it, you know, make it more adapted to an audience for an audience to be able to see from out in the seats, and that's how we come up with what we do. I see two purposes for the group. The first is to bring our music, what we sing, and all the emotions, the love of Judaism and love of just singing to our audiences. Try to spread it to as many people as possible. The second meaning that I feel is, you know, very important for a lot of our members is that Kaskeset brings the experience to its members. It allows the 14 current members to, you know, get around and get the experience of being in the public eye, singing for people and interacting with people in a way that that's you know, beneficial, fun to them as well as the audience.
Our goal is basically to perform and to spread the love of Jewish music, of Hebrew music, to people who might otherwise not really get into listening to it. I know that before I was in Kaskeset, I did not know many of the songs that we did, and I never would have just put on an Israeli pop CD, and now I'm looking for those kind of things because it's been spread to me and I've spread it to my other friends and my family, and I think that that's something very important that we do.
We've performed at nursing homes, things like that, where the audience at the beginning of the show will be, you know, not so receptive. They'll be a little bit, you know, hanging their heads, whatever. But as we perform, as you know, our smiles, you know, pervade their gloom, you know, if that's the case, you know, it's infectious. And they start smiling, they'll start, you know, we've had people dancing in the aisles, things like that. It's really, you know, that's, for me, the most rewarding thing.
We do a lot of volunteer performances because we think it's important to give back to the community and share with people who might not come out to see us or be able to come out to see us otherwise. My favorite part about being in the group, honestly, it's the amazing friendship that I've made with the members since I joined. I came into the group because I love to sing. I sang all through high school, but in addition to that, there's such a camaraderie between all of us that I love. And when I want to call someone up to hang out, half the time it's someone from Kaskeset, and it's just something really nice because we have a great bond and we share a love of singing and a certain type of music. We also sang V'ahavta, which means love your neighbor, love thyself. It comes from the Torah. It's one of the main commandments.
Visit the group's website at caskeset.com. Thank you for joining us on Expressions. You can find us online at wskg.org.